Day that were made by, of course, LeBron James. He's always kind of involved in these cryptic types of messages. And this wasn't even a cryptic type of message. This was a pretty obvious one. LeBron came out and touted that Steph Curry should be the MVP of the NBA this year. And he said that he thinks right now what the Lakers are about to embark on in this play-in matchup will be against the NBA's MVP this year. Talked about how if you look at where would the Golden State Warriors be without Steph Curry, they wouldn't be they'd be irrelevant, right? That's what LeBron James was saying. He even said that, we got caught up in the record sometimes. We get caught up in the who has the best record instead of just saying who has had the best season that year. And Steph has had, in my mind, the best season all year. So this is a storyline and a narrative that has existed throughout this entire season. And so the question is not just should Steph Curry win the MVP, but will he win the MVP this year? And the answer is he will not win the MVP this year. The MVP is Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is going to win the MVP this year. He's been absolutely sensational. He's led the Denver Nuggets, even without Jamal Murray, to the third best record in the Western Conference. He leads the league in most statistical categories, leads the league in PR, leads his team in every single major offensive statistical category. He's been absolutely sensational. But there is a solid argument to be made about Steph Curry and how really Steph Curry should win the MVP this year. Again, the caveat is not will he, but should he win the MVP this year? And if we honestly take a step back and we look at Steph Curry and everything that he's accomplished this year, obviously we know how extraordinary he's been on the offensive side of the basketball. Again, he's averaged 32 points per game for the entire season, locking up his second NBA scoring title of his career. He averaged 37 points in April, 36.5 points in May. He's been shooting 42% or better from the three-point line all season on over 12.5 three-point shot attempts per game. And those numbers, both the percentages and the attempts, have spiked up in the last several months. He's scored at least 40-plus points 11 times this season, over 50-plus points 2 times, and he even scored a 62-point game, which led the NBA for the single highest scoring total in a game this year. But for Steph Curry, it's much more than just the scoring aspect that he brings. Because let's be honest, the sole savior of the NBA's regular season this year was Steph Curry. The guy who saved the NBA this year was Steph Curry out of the Golden State Warriors. Because when you look at, again, the litany of players that suffered injuries throughout this season, so many stars were gone. LeBron's been gone for extensive time. Anthony Davis has been gone for extensive time. Joel Embiid has missed weeks on end with various injuries. Donovan Mitchell missed the last month of the season for the Utah Jazz with an ankle injury. Kevin Durant's been out. James Harden's missed the last what feels to be 2 months with a hamstring injury. Russell Westbrook missed about the first month of the season. Then Bradley Beal goes down. Kristaps Porzingis has been in and out of the lineup. Right? All these key guys. Kyrie Irving's missing games for no apparent reason due to personal reasons, right? All these elite players in the NBA are gone. And the one flashy NBA player that stuck around and barely missed any time, played throughout the entire season, was Steph. And I know it's not fair to Nikola Jokic because it's not his fault that he's not a flashy type of basketball player. He's a more, don't want to say basic, because what he does is not a basic skill set. He's a very versatile player, and he's a tremendous basketball player with a deep skill set. The guy can shoot from the outside. He can post you up. He can pass at an exceptionally high level. But his game isn't that enthralling. You're not that enthralled when you watch Nikola Jokic. When you watch Steph Curry, you feel like you could be amazed at any given moment in time. And again, I've talked about the reactions that he's able to elicit out of crowds when he gets going. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. And he transformed the reaction to the three-point ball to be even more than the reaction to a dunk. And again, it's unfair to Nikola Jokic, and I would vote for Nikola Jokic at this moment in time. I would. But if you're asking me, and I know it's not a popularity contest, but if you're asking me, who not only would I rather see, but who's really captivated the game more? Like, who is the reason why you watched the NBA this year? Why you watched, perhaps, the NBA this year? I'm not going to say it's Nikola Jokic. I'm just not. I would have to go with Steph Curry. And again, now the play-in tournament is so much more meaningful. There's a bevy of reasons why Steph Curry is not only the MVP, but should garner some serious consideration, because that there should be a great deal of consideration that is made for the guy's impact beyond just the scoring, but raising and enhancing the popularity and the interest level in the league. Because at the end of the day, if it was merely just about guys putting up stats or guys who can get you buckets, then Kawhi Leonard is great, but he's not vocal. And you're Adam Silver, who's a guy that draws fans in. I love Nikola Jokic. It ain't him. Steph Curry is the one that draws people to walk through the turnstiles to see him, or to turn on your television set, or open up your laptop, or stream a game on your phone because you want to see the type of marvelous offensive shooting that Steph Curry could display. So that's the big piece of it. The other element is LeBron's a shrewd operator. And this is kind of going to fly under the radar. Now, I'm not saying this is the impetus behind LeBron's decision to make these comments, because we know through LeBron's history, he's always been very complimentary of stars, and especially of sometimes his opponents or his foes and adversaries. That's kind of who he is. But LeBron also knows that with the Lakers and the Warriors slated to go up against each other, this is another opportunity for him to overcome another MVP in pursuit of a title. And so, again, this is an opportunity to further promulgate that narrative that he and the Lakers had to overcome another MVP and go through this arduous path to winning an NBA title. Now, I'm not saying that is the true impetus behind those comments, but LeBron knows good and well that if Steph Curry wins the MVP, that if LeBron and the Lakers do end up winning an NBA title this year, that's an additional achievement along the way, an additional hardship he had to outduel, another MVP he had to go through in pursuit of a championship. And even Jared Dudley, when asked about the path ahead, he said it will be the hardest challenge any team has ever had in NBA history. And again, I'm a Lakers fan, but this is trying to push this narrative of the most difficult path to a title ever. And LeBron in his career has never entered the playoffs lower than a 4 seed before. In his 14 playoff appearances, this is the first time ever that he has entered the postseason lower than a 4 seed. In fact, the only team to win an NBA title as a lower seed was in 1995 when the Houston Rockets ended up winning the NBA title as a 6 seed. They were the lowest seeded team ever in the history of the NBA to win an NBA championship. So again, another opportunity for history. So again, while Jared Dudley's not wrong that this certainly would be a really difficult path, it's just further trying to promote and, again, promulgate this narrative that they are overcoming this just arduous path to a championship. So we'll see. In a couple days, they're about to embark on it. And this will be the first time ever that a team will have to win 17 games in pursuit of a championship. Normally it's 16. So now at the play-in tournament, one additional game.